everybody, my name is Jin Ben and welcome to I.H.E.A.L Church. Today I would like to first start off by thanking everyone all around the world who have sent me incredible and beautiful messages of love, really wishing me a happy 50th birthday. Yes, the big 50. And I just feel so overwhelmed by everybody's love and everybody's encouragement. And I really want to thank all of you from the bottom of my heart. You know, it's kind of interesting to me that this is the 65th sermon of I.H.E.A.L Church. And of course, 65 is the year that I was born in. And it also happens to be the weekend where my family and I are celebrating my 50th birthday, and it kind of feels like, you know, one cycle of my life has come to an end, and here I am embarking on a brand new adventure with the dearly beloved people that I have in my life, and I just cannot help but feel grateful and just so blessed in so many ways. And so I spent a good deal of my birthday in meditation and in prayer, really thanking Heavenly Father and Mother for really giving me this opportunity to experience this life with all of its ups and downs, with all of its great victories and losses, and with all the pain and the love. It's been an incredible ride thus far. But in my heart, all I have is sincere gratitude, and for that, I am incredibly, incredibly grateful. You know, when I was at a ripe old age of 16, many, many years ago, I used to, you know, look at people who are 20 years and older. And me and my friends, you know, we used to look at them and say, oh my God, you know, those 20-something-year-old people are really over the hill. And here I am now at 50, looking back on my life and realized that not only did I go up and down the hill, not only was I over the hill after the age of 20, but certainly have gone up and down many mountains, and feel like it's still in the process of doing so. But it's just, you know, this feeling of how incredible it is to be breathing and to be alive. And that is truly the miracle of God in my life. And when I spent the day in prayer and in meditation, one of the things that I did was reread my father's book as a peace-loving global citizen. And I would like to share a passage from that book with you. My father said, "The teacher with whom we have the closest relationship is our heart. Our heart is more precious to us than our closest friends, and even more precious than our parents. So as we live our lives, we need periodically to ask our hearts, am I living a good life now?" Anyone can hear his heart speaking to him. If he comes to the realization that his heart is his master, he polishes his heart and maintains a close relationship with his heart throughout his life. If a person hears the sound of his heart tearfully sobbing, then he needs to stop immediately whatever he is doing. Anything that makes the heart suffer will ruin him. Anything that makes the heart sad will eventually make the person fall into sadness. Just as love is not for our own sake, so happiness and peace are not for ourselves. Just as love can never exist without a partner, happiness and peace cannot exist without a partner. All these can exist in the context of a relationship with a partner. Nothing can be accomplished if we love alone. We cannot be happy alone or speak of peace alone. Since a partner is what enables us to have happiness and peace, the partner is more important than we are. This to me is a really beautiful quote from our Father. And the reason why it is so beautiful to me, because it really conveys to us the quality of my Father's heart. And you realize that God chose this man to be the Messiah or the Savior for this world, or the Lord of the Second Advent, because of the quality of his heart. And you realize that in his heart, this guy really has a determination and the persistence and the kind of devotion that wants to liberate not just the world, but truly wants to liberate from the starting point, God himself. What Father wants to do is to liberate God's heart. And we understand through the divine principle that because of the fall of man, because God's sons and daughters fell away from God, that God is a God of suffering. And it is this Son of God that has really gone through the process of indemnity and restoration to really be able to stand in that position as a victorious son, to say to God, God, let me be the one to liberate your heart. Let me save you from your suffering. Let me be the one doing whatever it takes to heal your heart so that you can truly experience what it is like to be in the midst of a beautiful God-centered family. And this is what truly makes our true Father's heart absolutely incredible. Because there have been many, many great champions of God throughout history and throughout religious history as well. But Father is really the first one to say, I am going to liberate, I am going to save you from your suffering. I am going to liberate you from your suffering because I am going to be the one to heal your heart. And that is the quality of a heart of a true son. And that is the quality of a heart of a true daughter, like our true mother. And you realize that when you read and you reread Father's quote, he's saying that really the closest relationship that we have in our life needs to be with our heart. And we need to go through this process of polishing. And when you use the imagery or the metaphor of polishing one's heart, you know that certain things, certain ingredients need to go into successful polishing of the heart. You know that it takes time, you know that it takes effort, and you know that it takes persistence. And we realize that, when we attempt to really kind of heal not just our own heart, but here is our true Father saying, I want to heal God's heart. What he is in essence showing us an example of is how to go about it in our lives as well. And the way he goes about healing God's heart, and the way she goes about healing God's heart, our true mother, is an incredible dynamic of true love at play. And the way I kind of remind myself what they are doing in their life of faith to really liberate God and to really save God from, from years and years of providential history and suffering because of the irresponsibility of God's sons and daughters. You realize that the word heal is an incredibly powerful word. And coming from an Eastern tradition, I like to kind of look at the word not only in its entirety, but how the word comes together. And when you see the word, heal, it's made up of 4 letters, H.E.A.L. And when I look at the example of our true parents in the way they go about really healing God's suffering, really liberating God's suffering, really saving God from, this incredible years and years of suffering, you realize that Father is doing a couple things. Father is first and foremost acknowledging the heavenly parent, God up in heaven. He acknowledges as that victorious son. Father says to God, God, you have been a suffering God. You have suffered for so long. And I know why you have suffered. It's because your children fell away from you. And so Father acknowledges and starts off by really letting God know, I am here and I know you're suffering. He starts off with Heavenly Parent. And then he goes down to the letter E. And he realizes that he, in his willingness to really live for the sake of others, really be that filial pious son who will be loyal, who will be faithful, who will be consistent through all that will be thrown in his way on the road of restoration and indemnity. Father is the one saying to God, regardless of what I need to go through in order to liberate your heart of suffering, I am going to do that. I am absolutely going to do that. And each step of the way, each difficulty, each suffering, each victory, each loss, I will experience you fully in my heart as my Heavenly Parent. It's an incredibly beautiful statement that our true Father is making. And he's basically saying to God, God, don't worry about me. Don't worry about your daughter H.E.A.L. We are, the letter A, all in. There is no quarter way of loving. There is no halfway loving. There is no 3/4 way of loving and giving up. We will never give up on you. We will liberate you by never giving up on you. We will always be that absolute loyal, filial pious son and a daughter of God. And so from a parental point of view, how can God not feel liberated? And what does Father do? Father says, God, not only are we all in, but we are going to be men and women of true love. We will exemplify love that you have for us to the world and help the world see clearly, 2020, how we can truly, truly heal your heart of suffering and allow you to be joyous and dancing and singing together with us forever. That's the quality of heart that this son has for his father and mother up in heaven. And so when you understand that, that's the kind of a quality of heart that true Father has. No wonder God sent our true Father and our true Mother as the Messiah and true parents. That is why it's incredibly important for us to understand how precious they are. And we realize that in the process of healing, really Father acknowledges our God and acknowledges him as the Heavenly Parent, acknowledges him as the one who has suffered. But through his own life of faith, he is going to kneel in prayer and do what needs to be done with a grateful heart, all in. And regardless of what is thrown in his way, he is going to experience in his heart only love and only respond in love. And that is the incredible magic of true parents. So when we ask the question, with the word heal, well, who are we starting off? Heavenly Parent. Where do we experience this healing? You gotta experience it in our hearts. And how do we go about this whole healing process? We gotta be all in. And with what? With love. Simple and yet incredibly profound. And one of the stories that Father shares in his book, As a Loving Global Citizen, is he tells the story of this Japanese sister. And again, he is emphasizing the incredible power of true love at play through international marriages. He talks about how really the only way we can transform this world from the world of conflict and hatred and bitter resentment to the world of love is by really building these ideal families. And he shares a story of this one Japanese sister who weds, who is blessed and is married to a Korean man, and she goes to live with her Korean husband, and of course the Korean husband's father, who has gone through severe difficulties under Japanese occupation, absolutely detests this daughter-in-law simply because she is Japanese. And again, we can see the incredible hatred, that is passed on from generation to generation, because we don't know how to resolve the resentment, how to resolve the conflict. But again, we can see the incredible power of true love at play through this one example of an international couple, and how only by true love is the resentment learned how to let go, and the whole family can begin anew, or embark on a new adventure in life as a loving unit. And Father shares with us how this poor daughter-in-law was just mercilessly scolded verbally by the father, because in her face he saw the nation of Japan. She symbolized the nation of Japan and all the atrocities that the Japanese government did during the time that they occupied Korea. And the Japanese daughter-in-law, understanding where all this resentment or han from the father-in-law came from, the only thing she said to her father-in-law was, "Father-in-law, I am so sorry for your suffering. I am so sorry. If there is anything I can do to heal your suffering, please let me take this on." And this took place over a period of 10 years. This father-in-law gave this Japanese daughter-in-law a really, really hard time for 10 years. And let me make it clear, I'm not advocating verbal abuse here. But what I'm trying to convey is the heart that true father is trying to convey. And that is the heart of this Japanese sister, understanding that she represents the country of Japan that has done not such good thing to the country of Korea. And even though she herself didn't commit these sins, she understands that she symbolized something much larger. And therefore, she was willing to take responsibility for it and say, "God, I am going to liberate the han of your Korean men and women through my love, through my willingness to really live and work for the good of this family." And after 10 years, all the neighbors were so surprised, because one day the father-in-law just stopped complaining about the daughter-in-law, and the neighbors asked him, "What's going on? How come we don't hear you venting and going on and on about the Japanese in front of your daughter-in-law anymore?" And he said, "I have nothing left to vent about. All my resentment has been dissolved. All my resentment is gone." And because of this Japanese daughter-in-law's willingness to understand that his resentment towards her was not personal, but it was much larger than herself, she was able to kind of digest and embrace that as the representative of the country of Japan, and be that person to really heal her father-in-law. And that's the incredible power of true love that our true parents are talking about. So when I think about the quality of heart that our true father has, and the quality of heart that really father has tried to teach all of us throughout his lifetime, and the quality of heart that this beautiful Japanese daughter-in-law understood as the teaching of God and true parents, and applied in her own life to a successful end, you realize that all the resentment and all the hatred that we see in the world is something that can be transformed into something incredibly beautiful. I know that a lot of my friends, when they hear such things as, "Oh my goodness, another ISIS killing, another decapitation, and how the heck are we going to solve all this evil and all this resentment?" Well, our true father has given us the example of how to do just that, how to heal. And our beautiful Japanese daughter-in-law has shown us True love in motion, true love in action. This is not just some far-flung vision, fluffy, hippie vision of everybody loving each other. It actually works. And it works in her life, it works in my life, and it will work in your life if you give it a chance. And we realized that when I look back on the history of our movement, of our church, together with our true father, the first gen, as we call it, the new members that have joined over the years, you brothers and sisters have done incredible things with our true parents. The kind of work that you put in terms of fighting communism and really sharing with the world our true father's vision of true love, and doing our best to really share in the breaking news and living lives of sacrifice. Your life has been really a testament of what a true son and a true daughter has been. And I realized that we are really the second gen, or the ones that are born within the faith, are really standing on top, on all the shoulders of the giants that have come before us. And so when I think back on my life, I am incredibly, incredibly grateful. But your path and the path of second gen, and many path of first gen and many path of second gen, have not been an easy one. And many of us, and at different times in our life, we ourselves also carried this incredible weight of han, this Korean word, or resentment or pain or suffering in our hearts. And many of us are still suffering because we have not really found a way to digest or let go of our pain and our suffering and our resentment. And many of us are suffering from it. But I realized that going forward, if we're really going to be the men and women who changes the world, who really encourages the world to live as one family under God, as Gandhi says, we have to be the change that we want to see in the world. And if we want to really be able to be in a position to resolve the han, or the resentment and the suffering of the world, and release God from his own suffering and resentment, we got to start from our home stretch. And, Gandhi kind of went further and shared with us that if we continue on the path of just fighting for an eye, soon the whole world will be blind. And isn't that the antithesis of what our true parents are asking us to do, looking towards 2020, helping the world see clearly? So there's got to be a better way. And yes, there is a better way. And we realize that as faithful believers, we have the job of really healing ourselves. That is our 5% responsibility, of healing our children, our spouses, our families, and our communities as we look out into the world. And so even in my own life of faith, I've had many struggles with my own han, or my own resentment or pain or suffering. And the han runs pretty deep when you are born into the true family. And you come to a point in your life where if you do not find a way to resolve your han, you just do not want to live anymore. You just do not want to go another day with this incredible han. And sometimes it really takes the opportunity to look death squarely in the face to say, I gotta do something about it. I can't let my han overtake me. I can't let it kill me. I can't let it stop me from being the person that God wanted us to be. And when I'm thinking about, all of these people wishing me happy birthday, the only thought in my mind is, when I was born, I know that God had a plan for me. I know that God loved me as his daughter, just like the way when you were born, God had a plan for you. And when you were born, God, as that heavenly parent, imagined an incredible life that you and I will have. And when you see our life or our birthdays from that parental perspective, you realize how much God loves us. And you realize how much God is rooting for all of us. And regardless of what kind of Han we have in our life, God is hoping that through our 5% responsibility, God does everything for us. But it is that 5%, it is in the realm of 5% responsibility that we have to decide to heal ourselves. And I have certainly started walking the path of healing by doing exactly what Father did, by acknowledging our Heavenly Parent, by acknowledging that God is a suffering God. And like my Father, I am going to help liberate God from a heart of suffering. And you realize that everybody, every man and a woman, we were really born to experience this incredible thing called true love in our hearts. And I've realized that the only way I could really do that is to totally surrender and say, you know what, I am not going to hold anything back. I am going to be all in. I am going to be all in with love. And when we make this kind of a determination, just like the way Father and Mother has throughout their own life's course, that's when true healing starts taking place. And, I've shared with you last week that regardless of what people have said about true parents, and, in our church, there's always this talk of, who failed and who did that. And now we're at a point in our community where we are even going directly towards the core or the centrality of our faith. People saying Father failed, people saying Mother failed. I mean, it's really, I don't know what else to say other than it's just sheer spiritual chaos. And I know that lots of members and their children are being torn apart by different fragments and different groups in our church. And when the whole point of us being here as that precious hand-appointed, hand-picked sons and daughters of God, is God really wanting each and every one of us to really work together with true parents to create a beautiful world, a beautiful family that he can enjoy. And you realize that we got lots of work to do. But the most important thing at this time is to really kind of strengthen our core relationships. And it's got to start with God. And it's got to start with our true parents. Because without it, if we go on left tangents, right tangents, we're just going to end up into different fragments and different splinter groups, and we're going to have more groups than the Catholic Church. And that is not what we want to see in this world. What we want to see is unity. And what we want to see is working towards one family under God. And I realized that, God is kind of giving us a clue here. God is giving us a signal. Why is it that our true mother's last name is Han? Han in Korean means suffering, the resentment and the pain. But true mother's Han in Chinese character means one country Han. So our true mother has the responsibility of really taking in and digesting all of the world's pain and suffering and difficulty. But still, together with your help, build that one nation of God that our true Father and our Heavenly Father is really hoping that we can do. And so this is not a time to be overcome with resentment, but we have to decide today to really let go of our Han, the resentful Han, and really allow the real Hannara Han to really work together with us in creating something absolutely incredible. So I think a lot of us are kind of floundering, and because we are kind of taken in by different verbiage, by different discussion groups, by different opinions, and I'm sure all of those things existed at the time of Jesus Christ. But you have to kind of be able to see ourselves from the eye of providential history. The eye of providential history, when it looks back on what the disciples did 2,000 years ago at the time of Jesus' crucifixion. The eye of providential history clearly tells everybody that none of the disciples were there at the crucifixion. Well, we have to be mindful of the eye of history looking at us right now. Here we are. Not only do we have the second coming or the Jesus come again, but we have the victorious true parents. And here, on many fronts, our true parents are being crucified. And where are the children? Are we going to be so consumed by our own Han? Maybe like the way the disciples were consumed by our own Han and resentment and pain and suffering, that they could not overcome themselves to understand that they have to be there for Jesus. Well, are we going to be the same way? I think we can do better, brothers and sisters. And so if you have Han in your heart towards our true parents, or towards the true family, or towards the church in general, and if you feel that you've been hurt and you've been abused and you've been neglected, or whatever pain or suffering, we need to decide today, looking towards Father's third Simha anniversary, and really artistically preparing the quality of heart to honor our true Father on that day. We really have to decide to embark on this process of healing. And in order for you to do that, I, as an elder member of True Family, feel that the True Family, or my brothers and sisters, have not really done our part to the best of our abilities. And we all have our Han, just like you. We all have pain and suffering, unspeakable pain and suffering. But we need to get over it, and we need to learn how to release it. Otherwise, if we continue in this pain and suffering kind of a lifestyle, we will not be able to accomplish the quality of life or live the quality of heart that God wants to see in each and every one of us. So if you feel like you are in pain or you are suffering still by the different things of your own expectations towards True Family or your own expectations towards the church, and you feel that you have been hurt, let me, as one of the eldest sisters of the movement, be the first one to apologize for all your pain and suffering and your sacrifice. We as believers of our Heavenly Parent, and we as true parents and the True Family, and all of you have all suffered. But let me be the one to apologize for your difficulty, or for your pain, or for your confusion, or for your unspeakable difficulty that you've had to bear over the years, But please understand that we are all men and women trying our best. And we all each have a journey to travel on. But if my family was the reason why you are suffering, please accept this humble apology from me. And I feel that on some level, I feel responsible as an elder sister to Hyunjin, to Kukjin, and to Hyungjin, or the one that I affectionately call Lovey. These are my younger brothers. I love them with all my life. But I also must say clearly that what they are doing, really decrying the failure of true parents and tearing the true parents apart, is absolutely not right. But I feel that many members are kind of overtaken by some of the things that they are saying, and not realizing that they're being led astray. They're being led away from true parents. Our job as true children is to bring the world to true parents, to our Heavenly Parent up in heaven. And if we do the opposite, we are failing miserably as true children. So as an elder sister, I feel that it is my inability to be a better older sister that my brothers are able to kind of pull the church in different direction. But they are incredible sons of our true parents. They have incredible potential to do absolutely extraordinary things. But they cannot do it without the root. They cannot do it not being connected to the core. They cannot do it without uniting with Heavenly Parent and without uniting with our true parents. So it really is out of the love of my heart and really out of the love of my family that I beseech you to see clearly, regardless of how difficult the situation might be. And please, let go of your hand. Don't let 40 years of resentment, of your feeling and pain towards the church take you away from true parents because of the mistakes of the true children. You know, please stand together with our true parents. Please stand together with Han to really build that one nation under God and create an incredible world family that God is waiting to enjoy. So brothers and sisters, you need to know that you are infinitely precious. Brothers and sisters, you are infinitely and eternally beautiful. You are extraordinarily and powerfully good person. And we have to understand that all of us are sons and daughters of our Heavenly Parent and our true parents. I would not exist without true parents. And many of you would not be here without our true parents. We are here because of God and true parents. And we need to be doing better than how the disciples of Jesus Christ did 2,000 years ago. And please forgive all of us. Please forgive the true family for not being a better example of true loyalty and filial piety, that we are not in a position to not liberate just God, but we are not in a position to liberate our own parents or our own true parents. And for that, I am incredibly saddened. And so please, brothers and sisters, we need to kind of move forward together. We have to understand that we are one team. We win and we lose together. We are one family. We win and we lose together. And the way we do that is by working together with our coach, the best coach in the world. We got our true parents. So let's stay united. Let's be that devoted sons and daughters. And let's be that beautiful children of God that you and I are. And take it from there. Let's start healing with ourselves, with our families, with our spouses. And let's help heal the world. And let's help our true mother, who is the physical representative here on earth, really do the best that she can do in terms of creating one family under God. So that is my birthday wish, brothers and sisters, for this year. Really in preparation for Father's third Sangha ceremony and in preparing our quality of heart to see clearly and really be able to celebrate 2020 with the world seeing clearly. And that takes our decision to start the healing process today and with each other. So God bless and have a wonderful week and take care.